Hey everyone, this is Alex Elmore, and this is the Who Knew Sports Podcast. So recently we interviewed Austin Schwyhart. He is the public announcer of the O'Fallon Hoots, that is a minor league baseball team that is located right outside of the St. Louis area, for those who don't know the St. Louis area. So, I haven't been able to interview anyone in kind of the media side, the broadcasting side of things, and Austin Schwyhart was my first one, and I really enjoyed listening to what he had to say about what he does and how he got to the position he got to. You'll hear a lot of great things about what it's like working for the Hoots, and just kind of like how he got there. It's very interesting, and I think you all will enjoy. So thank you. Okay.
Oh yeah, it was my phone connecting to the Wi-Fi probably.
Okay, all good. So Austin, to start off, how are you today?
I'm doing great, man. It's another beautiful day. How are you?
Yeah, I agree. And yeah, I'm doing good. I actually just got home from work as well. So yeah. I guess to kind of just start off, tell me a little bit about what you do with the Hoots.
So with the Hoots, I am a public address announcer, one of the three they had last season. And then I did get the opportunity to do a game of play-by-play with the play-by-play broadcaster Casey Foreman, if you haven't talked to him.
Yeah.
And I got to do the playoff game with him this past year, so that was a lot of fun.
Awesome. So like when you're the public announcer, is that the person, like when I'm thinking public announcer, I'm thinking like at the Cardinals games, they're the person that like tells the audience like who's coming up to bat. Is that what
Correct.
you do?
Right. Yeah. John Ulick for the Cardinals. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So anyone that comes up to bat, pitching changes, stadium announcements, safety, promotions, stuff like that, fan of the game, and anything like that. If it comes over the main broadcast system, I'm probably the one saying it if I'm there.
Okay. Perfect. So when before you did that with the Hoots, what did you do before that to get into that role?
So I have been doing public address for almost 9 years now. It kind of blends together after a while, but I just started doing it in my high school, my junior, sophomore year. And then when I got to college, I got lucky. The guy who was doing it at the college I went to, which is Crowley's Ridge College in Paragould, Arkansas, a little NAIA school. And the guy who was doing it there was a senior, didn't have time to do it anymore, and asked me, he's like, "Hey, man, I know you did this in high school. Do you want to do it here?" And I'm, yeah, sure, why not? And I just kind of fell into it, got lucky, and I did that there for 7 years, and did all their sports: volleyball, basketball, baseball, softball, and then just got kind of lucky. I saw the Hoots had a audition thing, and I applied, and the rest, as they say, is history.
How did you hear about the Hoots from being in the Arkansas area, I guess?
So I'm from St. Louis.
Okay.
So I, had gone to Rascal games when they were, the Rascals were at Car Shield, formerly TR Hughes. And I was actually, I saw the audition on a Facebook group that I'm on for public address announcers. So it was just kind of one of those, hey, why not give it a shot? And I sent Shannon Browning, who's the former one of the folks there at the Hoots. She sent me an email like, hey, just need you to send us these audition clips. And I did them. I made it to the second round, which was a live audition, got to go do it at the field. And then I started doing games.
What was the recording auditions like? Did you have them already made, or did you like?
So the video recording ones were, the first one was just a lineup read. So it was just, your standard intro, welcome to Car Shield Field for the game today between whoever it was and the lineup, which I thought was fake, mind you. I thought this was a fictitious team, was the Shredded Cheese. And I read through their lineup, and the team was not fictitious. It's actually one of the Car Shield Collegiate League teams. I got a kick out of that, but yeah, it was just reading through their names, leading off playing center field number 1, John Smith, and just going through the lineup and the starting pitcher. And then the second thing was doing a commentary on a game of knocker balls, which is a fan favorite. So she sent me, those big blow up balls that people, get in and run at each other and run into each other. Yeah, that. So it was doing that, doing a live commentary on that, and then sent those in. And then the live audition was doing some stadium announcements. For example, the pitching change one that we had this past year was sponsored by Pappy's Smokehouse. It was kind of like reading one of those. This pitching change is brought to you by Pappy's Smokehouse, named Best Ribs in America by the Food Network, located on I-70 just off of Highway 40, whatever it was. I was just reading a couple of those, seeing how my voice sounded over the system, and if they liked it. And then we did another one of the mini games, that you do between innings, and did a commentary on that. And then a couple weeks later, I got an email and got the spot.
That's awesome.
No, it was really cool.
So, you said you talked about the college that you went to. You did get a sport management degree, correct?
Yes, that's my degree. I spent 2 years in the education department, and then I switched over to sports management.
I actually know someone who is doing that exact same thing right now. His name is Jacob Vogel. He was in education for the last 2 years, and I think this was his first semester of sport management. But yeah, so can you talk a little bit about like what you did with your program, and kind of like different stories you have with them?
So, I kind of got a unique experience because I was already doing things that were sports management related before I even got into the degree program.
Right.
So doing the announcing stuff, I played 1 year of college baseball there. So I was already, setting games up, setting stuff up for games, doing that. I was a freshman. I didn't get a lot of playing time, but I sure knew how to set the field up. So I got to do that. Being a part of, being the public address announcer, I was already doing game day stuff, working hand in hand with our athletic director, our SID, the coaches, talking to the other team's coaches every game to make sure I had all the pronunciations and names right. And just in general, learning about the games and stuff. So knowing how they operate, how to do it, talking to the officials. And so I kind of got a head start there. So when it came to doing internship stuff, which, you had to do.
Yeah.
I had a head start. I was already knowing kind of what I need to do. The public address stuff actually counted towards hours. Because it was game day operations, and being a student assistant for the men's basketball team there helped out too. Because I'm just already involved in the program, so it was just a natural transition.
Okay, so I'm actually doing a internship with the Hoots this coming summer. I'm doing tickets, and I know a lot of my fellow sport management majors at UMSL are also doing it. What are some tips that you could give, us kind of to help us succeed with the Hoots?
In any, especially in, so I'm trying to figure out how to word this, especially ticketing, because you're even more out there, but every job, especially in sports, has a link to customer service or guest service, however you want to say that. So it's really knowing how to communicate. And if you can communicate, if you can get what you want to say across well, and in the politest way possible, even if people don't quite know what they need, or if they are being, a difficult guest or something like that, being able to maintain that professionalism and communicate well, and even communicating with your workers with what you need, like, hey, I'm not understanding what they need. This is what I'm getting. Can you help me out here? And being able to explain that will get you a lot farther, because being able to talk about it and being able to convey what you need and listen to what the other person has to say will help tremendously.
Okay. So communication is key.
Every time.
Yeah. I hear that a lot. I hear that at my work too a lot. Not everyone is a good communicator.
It applies to every aspect of life. Communication is the most important thing a person can have.
Now, I kind of skipped over it. I kind of want to go back to like your broadcasting side. How did you kind of get into that? Was it just something that interests you?
Well, it kind of just started at my high school.
Yeah.
We had a really good basketball team one year. And I went to a tiny Christian high school called Christian Academy of Greater St. Louis.
Mm.
And we had a good basketball team one year. Our athletic director at the time did announcements one time, was like, maybe I'll do that sometime. And because he didn't do it the next year. And I was in chorus. And someone's like, hey, man, you're already a bass. You have a good voice. You should try doing that sometime. Just joking. And we're like, hey, why not? I'll do it. And so they put in the first couple, games were shaky because I didn't know what I was doing. And then eventually I just kind of came into it. I learned, kind of what to do. I actually learned a lot from listening just at other games that I went to, just kind of listening to what other people did or professional games, going to blues game. I love listening to Tom Calhoun. If I ever get that blues, that's the dream job right there, is Tom Calhoun's position. But even listening to John Ulick at the Cardinal games, hearing, videos on Facebook. When Derek Jeter was doing his retirement tour,
Right.
Cool fun fact, if you didn't know, at Yankee Stadium, his when he was walking up to the bat, was Bob Shepard, who was their PA announcer for years and years and years. And he has a very distinctive voice, a very distinctive tempo to what he says. And they had a recording of him doing Derek Jeter's intro. And they played that every time he came up to bat. It wasn't their stadium announcer. It was Bob Shepard's recording. Because he was the only one Derek Jeter wanted to be announcing him coming up to bat. But just listening to that and just hearing how each one had their own distinctive thing, it was just kind of cool. So I kind of fell in love with it, and it adding to the experience of the game, seeing how just one aspect of something can add an entire atmosphere.
Do you model your style off of anyone, or do you
Depends
take away?
On the sport.
Okay.
It depends on the sport, honestly. Baseball, if I have the choice, I don't quite have Bob Shepard's beautiful voice, but I kind of, the way I say it mimics it a little bit. Basketball, I kind of made my own thing, and same thing with volleyball. Baseball is really the only one where I kind of took someone else's, how they did it. And then I will say Tom Calhoun, the way he says blues influence how I say hoots. So I'll give Tom Calhoun that one. But other than that, no, it's kind of just developed as I went.
Nice. And you've had a lot of time to develop it. So what is your, like, what would you say is your biggest tip to get into the sports industry?
To get into the sports industry in general would be to, depending on what level you're at, because everything I've done is kind of on a smaller scale. It's not, NCAA Division I arenas. This is a small Christian college in a small town. So being a student there, it's like, hey, you want to help? Awesome. Let's go. But I asked to audition for a role with a certain company, and the person there like, hey man, we already filled the role, but if you want to get involved, this is what I'll tell you. Show up, be there, and just, hey, what can I help with? How can I help? Because that's how you make those connections. I made a lot of acquaintances outside of, my little press booth with the Hoots, even just by going around like, hey, how you doing today? Hey, you need help carrying that? Can I help you carry that? And just little things like that making those small connections, and then it leads to something bigger.
By any chance, have you done anything with the St. Louis Sports Commission?
I haven't.
That would be a great place to start if you wanted to. I've been what?
I said, oh yeah, I'm always interested in finding new things, because right now all I've got is I'm doing my I work with the Hoots up here, and then I'm doing some pro bono stuff for my alma mater. So
if you do want to do things with the St. Louis Sports Commission, definitely reach out to Tim Ryan. He's in charge of all the volunteer stuff. If you know Jen Wonder, I just saw her at the Mutual Awards, so she was there. But yeah, I've done a few things with them so far. I've done like I said, the Mutual Awards. I did the My Y Tour, where the Canadian and the US national hockey teams came in and played against each other, and Division III volleyball championship. That was really
there you go.
Yeah. But yeah. Do you know, like, do you have anyone like you would say was kind of a mentor for you, or kind of led you into kind of like on a path, I would say?
Honestly, in my case, no. Okay. Actually, I kind of just like I said, I just kind of fell into it. Going from just doing the starting lineups of my high school basketball game, and then I'll be honest, I kind of lucked out with being able to just jump into the college, and they went from NCCAA, which is the National Christian College Athletic Association, and then I was part of their switch to the NAIA, and it was just kind of a natural, growth, and it just kind of, I tried to add something every year to my repertoire, and it turned into, me getting this opportunity, which is helping me grow even more.
Okay. Do you know, like, who else, like, in your position is also, like, good to talk to, Because I'm trying to, like, learn as much as I can about the sports industry.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. I will say I do have, I was lucky that I met a couple of cool people. Have you ever heard of I'm sure Arkansas State College in Jonesboro, Arkansas? They're D1. Mm-hmm. The football public address announcer for them, and I think he does basketball too. His name is Ronnie Dye, and I was lucky enough to meet him through another mutual acquaintance. And talking to him, just like, hey, what's it like doing that? And he told me, some of the things he gets to experience on game days and all the stuff that he has to go through. And people at the Hoots, even just sharing experiences. Mike Cromer is another one of the public address announcers with the Hoots, and I believe he worked with the Rascals while they were there. And they've got stories to tell. The broadcasters that come in. It's just really fun to swap stories, and by doing that, you do learn other little things like, yeah, this is what we did, and it was weird, this is how it happened. And even that Facebook group I was mentioning, the public address announcer group that I'm in, I've learned a lot from that, because there are several sports that I have not touched, I haven't had the opportunity to do, but I know that there is an entire community out there. The internet is a wonderful resource if you use it correctly, and just learning different things from them.
By the way, you haven't done hockey yet, right?
Nope. That is something I do want to get into eventually.
I do. I mean, I have no idea if you could or couldn't, but with the St. Louis Sports Commission coming up in March, there's like a 10-day college hockey tournament going on. I think it's Division 1, 2, and 3. I don't know if they have opportunities for you, but that may be something. Yeah,
that's something to look into. Yeah. My time around that time might be a little limited. We're expecting a baby come February 1st, so my time's a little crunched there. But if I get a chance, that's something definitely I'll look into. Hockey's one of those things where I've wanted to do it. That's one of the really fun sports, in my opinion, to announce.
Right.
So I hope I get an opportunity to do that. So that's, great tip. I'll definitely be looking into that.
Like I said before, Tim Ryan, reach out to him. Or I don't know if it would be different for broadcasting and announcing who to reach out to, but that's at least a start person to kind of get the wheels going.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Austin, I think that is all the questions I have for you. I want to thank you for coming today. That honestly means a lot.
Oh, it's my pleasure. This is
Yeah.
honestly the first time I've been asked to do an interview, so I'll take it, man. I enjoyed it. It's definitely a cool experience, and any questions you have, you've got my contact info, so you're welcome to shoot me a message anytime you need.
Will do. Okay. Thank you for coming again, and yeah, you have a good day.
Absolutely. We'll look forward to seeing you this summer at Car Shield.
Oh yeah, perfect. See
All right,
ya.
man. Have a great one.
Yep, you too.